Hello, today on CityCast Portland, we're talking about the police officer suing an elderly woman for falling off her steps, the Portlanders using the most water, and a new city audit showing that the city itself is bad at hiring contract workers. With me are Willamette Week City Hall reporter Sophie Peel and senior producer Giulia Fiaoni. Welcome to the show, my friends. How you guys doing?
Hi, Claudia.
Hello. Good morning.
Before we started taping, Sophie and I decided that an all-whisper episode would probably get us more listeners. But Giulia told us to stop because it sounded pornographic.
Julia said it made her uncomfortable.
You're welcome, listeners. I shut that idea down.
Julia straight up said, I don't like this. I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, they gave me like a teaser to what it would be.
Well, we practiced before you were late.
I'm done talking about it.
Okay. So I'm just saying I'm sorry to all of our listeners not getting an ASMR episode today. This was Julia's fault. Today's opening question is based on something I saw on the news last week. The Oregonian reported on how a Portland police officer filed a $2 million lawsuit against a little old lady he was performing a welfare check on. Seems he fell down the front steps of her home. There were no railings on either side of the steps, which is a violation of Portland City Code. Anything with more than 3 steps needs a handrail in this city. So anyhow, Officer Bradley Jett's lawsuit says emergency personnel had already transported Rosemary Southwood away from her Selwood Moreland home when he had tried to shut the front door and lock it. It seems the door handle suddenly came loose. The officer lost his balance and he tumbled down approximately 6 concrete steps, breaking his finger, injuring his head, arm, and shoulder. And according to the lawsuit, Officer Jett, who's been with the force for 17 years, had to take about 6 months off and now suffers a prolonged disability. And there's uncertainty concerning his ability to return to his career. Because in addition to dislocating 2 fingers and breaking one of them, he also suffered a disabling loss of motion and grip strength in his hand. That's what the suit says. Now, the probability of the officer winning this case is not really known because police rarely sue for injuries on the job. That's usually the kind of thing that they're insured for. But the lawsuit also states that the workers' comp system isn't set up to adequately cover Jett's losses, including lost wages and non-economic damages such as aggravating his existing PTSD from his years in law enforcement. Which I was like, how many times has he fallen off a stoop? So anyhow, the last time a Portland police officer sued for injuries on the job was in 2024. It was a $1 million lawsuit saying that the city and its insurance company refused to pay underinsured motorist benefits for a broken leg suffered after a suspect ran over the officer in a stolen car. That sounds kind of lame. That sounds awful. Yeah. But the suit was dismissed months later for reasons that weren't documented in court records. So this new suit, new officer, 76-year-old woman, was filed last Monday in Multnomah County Circuit Court. And according to the officer's attorney, they're confident that they're going to be able to win this lawsuit. So my question to you both is, what do you think of all this? And what is the worst fall you've ever suffered? I'm just curious. Skin to knees.
I'm going to skip to the second question.
Oh, Sophie can't give us an opinion?
I don't know quite how I feel about it. I mean, I feel like going after a 76-year-old woman for $2 million in damages just is a lot. And I mean, yeah, this woman seems to live in Selwood Moreland is a nice neighborhood, but I doubt she has $2 million laying around. And I don't know. It just seems like
a fleece job to me. Sophie's not saying it, but I'm saying it. Go on, Sophie.
Okay, so my worst fall in the past 2 years was when I had norovirus in late 2024. And for 3 days, I was just basically crawling between my bed and my bathtub because I was getting alternating. I was freezing for 30 minutes, shaking. God. And then I became so overheated and couldn't stop sweating. So I was just going from hot bathtub to my cold sheets. And I feel like I'm pretty tough when I get sick. I don't really whine. I'm always whatever, it's fine. This was really bad. At one point, I was crawling to the bathtub. So anyways, get in the bathtub. Run the tub. I'm in there for 10 minutes. Then I start sweating profusely. I'm like, okay, I got to go back to my bed. At this point, I had a little routine. I very slowly stand up and immediately I start tunneling. And so I was like, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll stabilize by holding the shower curtain rail, which is a great idea so long as you're not tunneling and about to pass out. So I was like, great. So I'm holding on to this. I pass out. I wake up. I don't know how much it could have been 30 seconds later. It could have been like 5 minutes later. I really don't know. I blacked out. I fell back and I woke up like perpendicular to the tub. So like my feet were laced over the side of the tub. In my head, when I fell, it had bonked really hard on the tub. I was like out of it. So I wake up and I'm just like laying there in my tub water. And then I become like viciously nauseous and I just like throw up everything that's remaining in the tub.
Sophie,
so I have like
terrible.
I have like a concussion. I'm sitting in my own vomit water, but I had this is how pathetic it was.
Imagine if we had whispered all that. I think it would have elevated that story.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I was so
Sorry, Sophie, go on.
I was sitting in my own vomit water. So I was so exhausted that I couldn't bring myself to get out. So I just laid there for 10 minutes. It was really bad.
Dude,
Jesus.
not only is it the gnarliest fall, it is the grossest fall I've ever heard about.
Yeah.
I know, it's
Who
pretty
can we
bad.
sue?
I was thinking about that. No, I
That
really
was my
like my
follow-up.
landlord.
And who can you sue?
For $3 million.
Yeah.
No, my landlord's really nice. He never knew about it. He didn't need to know that. I didn't want to gross him out.
Oh,
Honestly,
wow.
we didn't need to know that, but here we are.
No one
Giulia,
needed to know that. But
what about you?
Oh, this is like early second year of college. So like, just give me some credit. About a decade ago, almost nearly now. So this was a while ago. I got really, really drunk. I went out with some cousins, drank way too many shots of whiskey.
Cousins.
It's always cousins. They're always buying drinks. And one of them threw me in an Uber. I said that the address I put in was my house. It was actually my boyfriend's house, who I was in the process of breaking up with. So I show up on his doorstep.
Drunk.
So wasted. Sweetheart of a guy is trying to take care of me. And he's like, hey, like, let's go into the bathroom in the basement so that you're not embarrassed, like throwing up in front of everybody in the main floor. It's one of those very busy homes. And this is like 1 o'clock in the morning. He's like trying to guide me down this like full flight of stairs into the basement. I trip and stumble, not only fall down the stairs, but fall on top of him. He was my cushion when I landed at the bottom of this flight of stairs. So to answer your follow-up, Claudia, he should be suing me in this scenario.
and then you broke up with him? That
How
same
And then we
day?
broke up very soon after
How
that.
many days after you threw up all over his basement, fell on him, did you break up with him?
I think it was within a week it was finally done. It was not
Well,
not
at
a
that
proud
point, he may have been
time.
okay with it, given what you had done to him.
I think at that point, I think you did a good job.
so.
I think
Yeah.
you did a good job of
I think I gave him a good place to move on.
of decoupling. You did a great job.
It's like, ew, I don't
Thanks.
even like her anymore.
You know what?
Yeah, you know, it was kind of
sucks.
not really feeling
She's
it.
gross.
And she's a little heavy. All right, so before we take a break, I just wanted to plug our penance. We are. It sounds like I'm saying penance, like in the Catholic term.
Yeah.
Wool-felt penance.
Penance.
Penance. Okay, anyhow, we still have some. So if you join as a member, which I'm pushing for an All Whisper podcast as member-only content. So come on, you little freaks. Membership.citycast.fm /Portland. That's membership.citycast.fm/Portland. We still have pennants to give away. Unfortunately, we're out of our tote bags. But yeah, I think this is the last. We were just doing like a summer clearance. We were just trying to get rid of them.
Pendant?
Wait, is it pendant or is it pennant?
Pennant.
It's
What's
pendant.
a pennant?
It's one of those like triangle flags, Sophie,
that
are usually felt, and they
never
have like a
heard
I just spiraled
custom design.
because I don't really enunciate D's or T's because I'm from Southern California, and so is Giulia. So I thought you were going to come in, Sophie, with like, are you asses trying to say pendant?
Plus, like, also, like a CityCast pendant, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, no, it's pen. We're right? It's two
Okay.
ends. Pennant. Okay,
cool,
okay,
cool.
great.
Pendant.
Okay,
I've just
whatever.
never heard that.
Anyhow, get yours now. Membership.citycast.fm /Portland. All right, well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, Sophie is exposing the Portlanders who use the most water. Okay, Sophie. So this Hydro Hogs list, Willamette Week compiles, it's in its 10th year. But reading through, it said that Willamette Week has supposedly been keeping track of the largest residential water consumers in our area for nearly 25 years. And I know Portlanders love pointing fingers and feeling like morally superior. But can I just ask why Willamette Week spends time researching and compiling this list?
That's a super fair question. I would say it's a two-part thing. One, I think it's like, I mean, we do it, it's really sporadic. Sometimes we do this issue like 2 years in a row. I think sometimes we take a 5-year break, like this past year, we took a 5-year break. I was actually the last person to do hydro hogs in 2021. I think there are like, the 99% of Portlanders, and then there's the 1% of Portlanders. And I would say a lot of the people on this list fall into that 1% category. It's sort of how the other half lives. And I think it's always a nice reminder to the 1% of like, hey, no, Portland does not have a water supply issue, but like just a gentle reminder that you get to do a lot more than other people do because you can, afford a $12,000 water bill. So, this is not like a package that is like, I mean, it is deeply reported because it's a ton of facts. But, I wouldn't say there's like a huge value to it other than sort of a bit of a reminder to these people. And then also people like to read about how the other half lives. And, a lot of these people have very lavish places. They're really beautiful. They're huge. There's like, 8 bedrooms, 6 baths. I mean, these houses are crazy. They're crazy. And it's not what average Portlanders see. And so, yeah, I guess a little bit, it's a bit of a, what's the right term? Not a shame fest, but like,
I was about to say, like shame-based reporting.
Yeah.
Hoping they change their ways. But I guess as just like a person who understands just like the most basic tenets of environmentalism, I am like, but what does this change?
No, it doesn't change. Well, that's okay. No, does it change anything super important? No. However, we have had some of our hydro hogs like change their behavior because of this, because they don't want to be on the list. So sometimes like people do drop off of the list, and I think it's probably because they're like, shit, I don't want to be on that list again. Like, that was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
So again, I think we are like, I'm always a little self-deprecating about this type of package because I realize the utility of it is not, this is not like a game changer. This is not going to create like sweeping changes to policy or anything like that. But it's kind of fun for us. I mean, it is, this was a project, this year that we had our 2 summer interns on, and I was sort of supervising them, and you have to go through all these databases, and it's all this triangulating of information because some of these properties are owned by LLCs. Like, it's like a treasure hunt.
I gotta tell you, it reads like you guys had a lot of fun putting it together.
It was like equal parts fun and also torture. For reasons I won't get into.
I know there's 20 people who made it on the list. I know we can't go through all 20. I wanted to mainly talk about like the list as it exists, because I'm sure people, maybe even new to the city, are like, why do you guys do this? And it's like, well, now you know why. Because the framing really was like, while Eastern Oregon burns, here's all these fucking assholes using all this water. And I'm like, well, there's no connection.
Not our words. Claudia's words.
It's just a recap.
It was a pretty good recap, though. And I was just like, well, it's not like I'm like, did they all start the fires and then like use up all the water? These guys
no,
just
we are not saying that. Just to be
watering
clear.
their lawn. Okay, whatever. But I want to know, we can't do all 20. Will you choose like your favorites? Because I have 2 that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to like talk through these 2 with you.
Sure.
And also there's some repeat offenders. Like whenever someone makes it to the list or moves up, you guys really also talk about that.
Yeah, a couple of our repeat offenders, we have Christine and Josh Collins, who have a beautiful, beautiful property to their credit, like multiple lawns and just beautiful flowers. I mean, everything's pristine there. I think he's in private equity, or he's kind of dabbled in private equity. He did get like a medal for serving in Operation Desert Storm. Like, he has a pretty cool story. But yeah, they're filthy rich. They're a repeat offender. I think last year in 2021, they were a little bit lower down on the list, and now they're actually number 1. So they've moved up the list.
I wonder what happened.
Yeah. We have Paul Bernicke, the owner of formerly Sortis Holdings. He's a repeat hydro hog, so he's on the list again. We have Henry Hillman Jr., who came from like a Pittsburgh steel dynasty, who is also incredibly rich and has, owned a number of companies and sold them. And, he has a tennis court. And actually in 2021, when I was a little baby reporter, I was doing hydro hogs and I went to all these properties and like there's a hedge that encircles like most of his property and it's really tall and really thick. And I could see that he and who I assume was his wife, they were like playing tennis and I tried to like call out to them, but they couldn't hear me. But I also wasn't trying that hard because I was scared. So I was like, Henry, through the hedge. And for some reason he didn't hear me.
God. You were like,
Henry, I have a question for you. I would say, one of the ones that I love when state legislators make this list.
ooh, tell me.
So in 2021, we had Senator Kate Lieber on the list. This year, we had State Representative Daniel Nguyen. He owns a beautiful, it's a mansion. I don't know how else to describe it. I think it's an 8-bedroom, 6-bath, beautiful, beautiful property. And when we asked him about his water consumption, he said, well, it's more of an urban farm. And he listed a number of things that they grow on the property, which I gotta say, like, in my 3 planter boxes, I can also grow those things. So the idea that it's an urban farm is like, it's a sweet interpretation of what this mansion is. So I would say that was one of my particular favorites. Last one I will mention, Tim Jones. He's a photographer.
Oh, I can't wait. This was my favorite.
Yeah, we didn't know that much about him, but he's a photographer, like a commercial photographer for Nike, Adidas, Teen Vogue. Like he's done a lot. And we did not know he had strong feelings about Willamette Week, but he had some strong words about us. And
Can I quote him
Sure.
here?
Yeah.
Because I wrote it down. You reached out to him and he wrote, yeah. I'm not interested in talking to you leftists. And then he called back 25 minutes later to inform that the property had a large water leak, which he has since fixed. And then he followed up with, I can't tell you how much I hate your little paper and you little smart-ass fuckers who think you're environmentalists and know nothing of the environment. That's just all I have to say.
That's it.
The other one that I was just like, what was the Trinity House venture? It was like the Trinity Venture L is number 3, which is really high up on the list for a list of 20. And it's an abandoned house. Did you figure out how this abandoned house was using up so much water?
I mean, no, not like the details of it, but it's clearly like a flipper. And I think the 2 developers on that who are both Vancouver, Washington based and they, I think the attorney on the listing, because it is listed for sale right now. I think it's been on the market for a while and it recently had a price drop. So that tells you that it's not going well. But yeah, it was a flipper. So, but we don't know. I mean, it's like it's a big single family home, but like, it's not that big. I mean, it's not anything you wouldn't see in, Sunnyside or whatever. No one's living there. And it's in rough shape.
It could have been like a broken main or something. And then since no one's living there, they just didn't notice that it's been leaking for freaking ever.
Yeah, there's something clearly very wrong. The city, I think, told us that they had sent them like the owners 7 notices of like, hey, your water bill's really high. What's going on? And they just never said anything back. And so, yeah, that one, I mean, we always have 1 or 2 properties on the list where like it doesn't make any sense because they're not mansions. They're on a normal lot. They're not in Dunthorpe or the West Hills. Like they're on the east side. Like it just doesn't make sense. But they still use the water, so we got to include them. But it's not the norm.
Yeah. Well, we got to wrap up soon. But I do have a suggestion, which is that you guys do a Hydro Hogs version for Oregon industries and businesses.
I think we have explored that. But I think it's much harder to get those records either like legally. So there's something that like makes it much more difficult to get those records. Yeah. But I will say Mike Rogaway at the Oregonian has done really good water usage stuff around data centers. So
we love Mike.
Go Mike.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And for anyone who's just like, I don't understand this list, just read it. We're going to put it in our show notes. It's a really fun read. I do feel a little sorry for everyone on the list, I got to tell you, which is, I know I shouldn't, like, who cares? But it's just like, oh, man, I'm so sorry, you guys. Because it does feel like a little voyeuristic. And there is a glee of, being like, get 'em, to like anyone who's rich or elite. But at the same time, because also, like you said, it's not like it's going to solve our problems of any sort. It just really is like, look at this. But it's fun. It's a fun read. I especially like when you compare how much water has been used to how many things, like 500 snow cones or whatever, I think it was like more than 500 snow cones, but yeah. We'll link that to our show notes. All right, well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, Giulia has another audit to share, this one exposing how wasteful our city government has been with hiring contract workers. Giulia, tell me everything. What did Simone Reddy and her team uncover? If no one knows, I'm a big fan of our city auditor's office.
So my segment today comes from some reporting from all over, but mainly articles by K2, KGW, and the Oregonian. And I'm talking about how this week our city auditor, Simone Reddy, uncovered that the city wasted $650,000 on a failed contractor project. And she found this out through investigating a tip she received last year through the auditor's office fraud hotline. So why did the city waste $650,000 from its general fund when they're already struggling to balance their budget? Key detail. So I'm going to break down what happened. So contractors were hired in August of 2024 to address a large backlog of updates in the city's time and payroll system. Basically, this backlog happened because they needed to implement changes from new labor agreements across city staff. Anyway, all of it was considered urgent work, which is why they hired the extra help. So fast forward, the contractors were hired, and then city operations found out two things after they already hired them. The city's technology services department was not going to approve contractor access to the city's technology system to complete the job because it was considered a security risk, which, so it turns out that city operations did not confirm this ahead of time. So it was already too late and they were scrambling. And city operations said that human resources attempted to, quote, adjust the project to not have it be a security risk. But the contractors did not have the experience to complete the work under the new requirements. So then it was found out that city operations didn't clearly lay out what was expected of the contractors hired for the job to begin with. So the city wasn't aware that they didn't have this level of expertise to get the job done. So to backtrack a little, so contractors were hired in 2024 in August with the goal of completing the work in January of 2025.
Do we know what this work is?
So basically they needed to fix timesheets and make adjustments in their payroll system because there were a bunch of labor agreements that changed like certain parts of this that needed to be updated just across city staff. So like they had to go in and just make those adjustments based on the changes in the labor agreements. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess it does. I didn't know that was a job that people could do. For some reason, I just thought, like, isn't there software for that? You know?
I think that's because the reason why it was backlog is because there were changes in contracts. So they had to go in and make updates. The way that their system works, someone has to actually go and do it. It's not like an automatic thing from how I understand from the reporting.
Already, it just sounds like waste upon, because I'm like, that seems inefficient as well.
It's not an efficient system, apparently.
That's not an inefficient. Yeah, okay, sorry.
It's okay. So just to lay this timeline out for you. So the contractors were hired in August of 2024. They wanted to complete the work in January of 2025. The deadline was pushed off because of all these issues. And then July 2025 comes around. The contract ends without the work being finished. And then in August of 2025, they hired new contractors to complete the work for another $600K. These were contractors that they learned could actually do the job. And then finally, a whole year later, past the deadline that they initially set for themselves in January of this year, the work was completed. So that's what happened.
How much
Apparently
money
this was
overall?
Urgent work.
Was it?
Overall, so what is that? $650K plus $600K?
Oh, like $1.2
million.
While our city council is like fighting each other tooth and nail for like an allocation of like $1 million to do this or to save jobs. See, Sophie, so that is of consequence. That's a good audit.
I think we should have more audits. I think there's a lot of stuff going on.
We need more snitches. City Hall. Listen to me. I know that you hear snitches get stitches, but I think snitches get a functioning government is what I think.
Snitches maybe would avoid wasting over $1 million doing something that seems pretty straightforward. I don't know. I don't know how complicated it is. But yeah, how are we feeling about this?
Well, it's just a bummer. Like, it really is just a bummer. One, to Claudia's point, I'm surprised we even need to like bring in a contractor to do that work. And like maybe it is like a big lift, but the fact that it's like $600,000 to do what seems like should be automated, or maybe city employees should be able to do without a contractor. But I'm sure there are things I don't understand about just how complicated it is to make those changes. But I think this is just like such a case of like bureaucracy being really difficult, right? Like, okay, it was a security risk, and it's like, couldn't we find a way around it being why was it a security risk? Like, is it because we don't, I don't know. It just seems like there are so many little things that get in the way because we have these rules in place. And like Portland government is and maybe this is just government everywhere, but it can be so inflexible. And I realize there's a fine line between like being flexible and like that's a good thing, and then being too flexible to where you're exposing things in the system that shouldn't be exposed. But this seems to be one of those things where like it probably was avoidable, and we probably didn't have to waste all this money. And I don't exactly understand who's at fault here, like if it's city operations or if the contractor had some fault in this, but it's like, can't we just like maneuver a little bit more? And you're right. I think the context of the city council arguing over like $10,000 for hours and hours and hours while we just wasted $600K is like such a frustrating like thing. This also makes me feel like this is why the city council should actually care a little bit more about what's happening like internally and pay more attention to that rather than like just what's given to them in the budget. Like this is the kind of thing that city council should be really digging into. And instead they're just arguing for 17 hours about like a much smaller amount of, a much smaller amount of money. And
So can I add an even more frustrating detail here?
Oh, with, always.
What the city had to say in response to the report. So this is a quote from the report. Here it is. Despite this information, so basically the auditor laying out everything I just laid out, city operations stated that there was no waste. They did not elaborate on their reasoning. The investigation reads in part, waste involves the intentional or unintentional mismanagement of city resources, including expenditures that could have been avoided through reasonable care. In this case, we disagree with city operations. So that's the thing for me, is that not only did they go and do this and make this big mistake, they're now coming back and responding to the audit and saying there wasn't waste and not really explaining why they think
There's no war in Bossing, say.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's tough. It's a tough one. And although that was their response, the auditor obviously did make a handful of recommendations. The two main ones being, hey, how about we actually lay out for our contractors what's expected of them if we're going to hire them ahead of time with like key details and deadlines and stuff. And the other one being, why don't we have a process for approving contractors access to certain tools that they need to get the job done before we hire them?
Seems simple.
Which I am shocked that that's not already a thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I'm so curious what our city administrator has to say about all this. Because there's no way that he's seeing this and going, yeah, that's good.
Can't imagine he's feeling good about it. I will say all of this specific example happened before he was hired, our current city administrator, Raymond Lee. But the deputy city administrator for city operations, Tracy Warren, did say that they learned from their mistake. They already implemented those recommendations in the newest contract, and that it's being taken care of moving forward. They won't do it again. So that's where that leaves us. But yeah, not great.
Not great at all. What else is happening in City Hall? City Hall workers, come on. Tip us. Tip Simone's team. What's Casey Jones doing?
Know.
Tip Sophie. Tip Sophie. Sophie loves tips. Well, thank you for that. Deeply frustrating. Before we head out, though, we do have some shout outs, and I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need your help with these shout outs. So what these shout outs are, they're basically our members of our Portland Neighbors program, the one that you get penance from.
Pendants.
It's penance.
We'll make a pendant.
Don't confuse our listeners, Sophie.
They're going to be so confused. They're probably turning it off right now. They're just like, you know what? No whispering, and bullshit. I have no idea what they're saying. One of the perks of being a paying member of CityCast Portland is this opportunity. You shout out a local business, organization, person that you love, and I think it's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite things here. Julia, do you want to kick us off?
I would love to. Here's one from Scott H. that says, I volunteer at AMP, the Artist Mentorship Program, regularly, and they are amazing. They have built a safe space for empowering homeless youth through art and music. Show them some love. I've actually been to this space before, at least the one downtown. I went to a show that was just basically a benefit show for this program. And it's a really amazing creative space. I love hearing about our listeners being involved in that.
That's awesome. Well, here's another one from Giulia S. that says, the Jeremy Wilson Foundation is a nonprofit that provides support to musicians and music industry workers in Oregon and Clark County, Washington, as they navigate health-related challenges. Shout out. That's awesome. A little background info on me. For a while, I was like pretty much supporting myself being a musician. And like, if it weren't for these types of foundations, or there was this one that where you can get dentist work for free that really saved me once. Yeah. Shout out all of that. Sophie, this next one, you want to help us out with?
Yes. I've got one from Corey S., who says, Portland City Club, discussions and presentations about civic issues important to Portlanders. Most are free and open to the public. I also, this is not Corey saying this, I host a lot of City Club stuff, and I love City Club. They're always wonderful to work with, and I really do think they are.
That's so cool.
They're so down the middle. They're awesome, and they're great.
They've never asked me to host anything. I just want to shout out that. So shout out to Scott H., Giulia S.
Perhaps I'm funnier.
Sophie, you are funnier than me. I will say that out loud.
No, I don't think that's true.
So shout out to Scott H., Giulia S., and Corey S., and a special thank you to Lynn P., Susie B., Donna S., Gretchen M., Sharona M., and Dana B. for becoming CityCast Portland neighbors this week. I'm sure they're enjoying their pennants and or their now limited edition tote bags. When you join us as a Portland neighbor, we're also going to read out your shout outs. And you also get like ad-free listening. You get some bonus content and invites to member-only events, which is pretty cool. Join at membership.citycast.fm/Portland. That's it. That's our show, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, Sophie, Giulia. I appreciate I just, I love this combo. Maybe our listeners are like, this is the worst combo. I hate this combo. But I need to say out loud,
break them up.
I love this combo.
Oh,
who's your favorite guest?
Claudia?
Oh, you, Sophie, of course. Of course. The funniest one. The funniest, smartest, prettiest guest ever, Sophie Peel.
You should say that every
The
time
most
you introduce
prettiest,
me.
most funniest.
The most
prettiest, funniest girl.
Sophie Peel.
As I hold a gun to her head.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. Our production team this week was John Notarianni, Giulia Fiaoni, Rachel Monahan, Jesse Wiza, and myself. Original music by Jenny Conley and Stephen Dreesos. Additional music by All the Kimonos. Our ad music is by Sven Lindvall and Sarah the Instrumentalist from Epidemic Sounds via Getty Images. I'll be back. No, just me. Nobody else. We'll be back Monday morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.